She's April.
And she's Molly.
And we are
the Book Besties.
Cis men, obviously, over lesbians. Isn't that the rule? They are smarter than the rest of us. They know all. Don't tell your wife that. She'll take it out of context of primordial ooze that they have going in there. In their tiny little teen monkey brain minds, you know, that little... We went to the local library. Yay, libraries! What the fuck, man? Focus. And we're here, April-less. Hi, guys. I know, I'm the grown-up today. Is everybody really freaking out? Is everyone really freaking out? I would be freaking out, too. Today, we are here with my friend Leslie from Texas. Hi, Leslie. Thank you for joining us today. So, Leslie's jumping in to do home field advantage with me today because April needed a timeout. I mean, look at this.
We all do.
Of course, we all do. So, how I know Leslie? Leslie and I met on a Facebook group. Nerd Moms. We became friends that way, and we had a mutual friend on Nerd Moms, and we started playing Bunko together and became real life friends. To the point where you were one of the few people that came to say goodbye to me.
Yeah.
It was so great.
Man, I miss Bunko nights.
I miss Bunko nights too. Alyssa is now a stay-at-home mama, so maybe Alyssa can pick it up. Get on her tushy.
Well, you moved, and our mutual friend moved. And
I know, what a shithead.
Well, she
you
moved
know
before,
who you are.
She moved before,
she moved before I did. Exactly. She gave me the right idea. So this week, gang, she did not. I did not move where she is. I am not going to Pennsylvania. I left Pennsylvania a long time ago. So let's do a little background on you.
Okay.
So Leslie is an avid reader. So I don't know your history. We only go back friend-wise as parents, you know? Like,
yeah.
So you're a native Texan, right?
Kind of, yes.
Ish.
I was born in Texas, but we moved away when I was 5, and I actually grew up in Michigan.
That makes sense.
And then I came back.
So well, that northern stuff.
I know. I'm very Midwestern at times. And
not
then,
at all.
No,
not at all.
And then I moved back to Texas kind of as fast as I could because I don't do well in cold climates. And I came down here for college, and I just was like, I'm never leaving again. So.
And you met the guy you have tiny humans with, and
I did.
The rest is in the books.
Yeah.
The rest is in the books. Now, you run a kids camp, right? Or you used to?
I did. I used to coordinate a day camp for kids.
Because Hillary knows you from that.
Yes. I know Hillary from Ireland.
Ed Kids.
Yes.
Yeah. It's as big as Houston is, our little circle got real tight real fast.
I know. I love playing the where do I recognize you from game.
Like, I know you.
Because outside of camp, it was always people knew me from camp. But if I would, like, one time it happened that I was at camp and somebody's like, oh, you're so familiar. I was like, well, crap. Like, this is my usual, like, you know me because of camp. And now I have to figure out where else you might know me from in the 8,000 places I go.
I have social groups. I have this. I have that. I did this. Yeah. Isn't that weird how little communities like that become, or big communities like that become real little, real fast? Because Lake City's big. It's real big. It's one of the larger growing communities in the Houston area. So, excuse me. I had like this just air bubble just out of nowhere trying to make life harder for everybody. Houston grows real fast. Like, since when we moved to Lake City, Piper was in kinder. And our little area was just like that little area. And then all of a sudden, they started building all those developments, and it just kept populating and populating. I'm like, Matt, Texas is getting claustrophobic.
So I've been in this area since 2003. And let me tell you, watching it
I can't
develop is like, because there was a time where, like, once you hit I think Mall of the Mainland, which
Mhm.
isn't a thing anymore. It's
No.
sad.
So sad. If you know Mall of Mainland, that's a deep cut.
There was nothing on I-45 between that and like Baybrook, and that's like
Right.
a
It was
solid
empty.
10 miles, like just
Yeah.
nothing. And now you cannot. I mean, you can't spit and not hit
No.
something because it's all been built up.
When we got there, it was mid 09. It
Okay.
was like late spring of 09. And Matt he went to COM.
Mhm.
And during the time he was at COM, he worked at that little Kroger's on 96. And you remember when 96 was just all cow fields?
Yes.
And just that tiny Kroger's? And now it's everything. Like
Mhm.
96 has everything from one side of 1 to 45 to like 146. It is just full of crap. It used to just be cow fields
Mhm.
and longhorns. And now it's shopping malls and houses on top of houses on top of
Yes,
houses.
so many
And
houses.
so we came to Maryland where it's green.
But not as less humid, is it? Because y'all are on the coast.
You know what's wild is these people bitch about humidity so much.
Oh God, no.
It is so irritating. And Piper came home the other day, and like the girls have been wearing shorts since like mid last month. And they came home one day, and Piper's like slams her bag down, and she goes, "My teacher complained about the humidity." And I go, "Okay." And she's like, "In Maryland, Mom. Maryland." She goes, "I asked him if he ever left the state before because anything past Louisiana sucks," she says.
She's not wrong.
And I was like, "You can't heckle teachers, Piper. You can't." Like, you gotta stop. This is for
frowned
our
upon.
fans. Yeah, it's not great. But for those that follow us, the home game, this is also the teacher I had to give a sarcasm sign to for Piper. So he's used to Piper just giving it to him. No, like just being mean to him. So it's just her life, man. Your kids are out for school, right? This
Yes,
summer?
we got out last Thursday, the 25th.
Not,
So
it's hot as hell there already, right?
yes, they were begging me to go
I'm
to the
not,
pool early, and I was like, "Look, I got to record this podcast with Miss Molly, my friend, and once we do
they're
that,
like, "You don't have friends, mommy." My kids never think I have friends. They're
oh
so
no, they
afraid.
know I have friends. Ever since my oldest, who is now 10 and a half, has been a baby, they have like mommy's going out with her friends. Mommy's going to bunko night. Mommy's going with, they are
Yeah,
used to me because like mommy's a real person and has friends.
right. Because that's real life.
But they didn't
Because that's
understand the
real life.
concept of a podcast. Like
Yeah.
my
Oh.
7-year-old was just kind of like, huh? And I'm like, they love to watch a video game walkthrough
Oh yeah, on
guy
YouTube.
on YouTube. And I was like one of his episodes, but like about
Not
reading
his episodes.
but like reading a book, not playing video
But
games.
it's not about him. It is him,
No.
but it isn't him.
Yeah.
You'll get it soon. You'll get
Yeah.
it soon. You'll get
And
it
she's
soon.
kind of like, okay. So,
That's funny. They're so funny.
they
Kids
are.
Well, it's a fun age, right? Like you're in that you're not in the moody stage yet with the girls. So
Oh no, my 10-and-a-half-year-old is I
giving
get
you
looks. The preteen age is hitting hard and
that fire's coming already. You lucky girl.
yes.
You lucky girl.
And just some background, both of my kids are GT, but they're different GT personalities. And so like my oldest is the academic GT, was reading and writing at like 4, and my younger one is the creative GT,
they're like my two.
Reading is a struggle. Like I know she can do it, but
She just
like,
doesn't wanna.
yeah, if it's hard or she thinks it's gonna be hard, like I don't do it. So it's been a rough year.
So the summer is much needed.
Yes.
So are they going to do the summer reading program at the library then?
Yes, we were there yesterday for their little kickoff party. Not yesterday.
We love
Wednesday.
the League City Library. We are friends with the League City Library here at Book Besties. We love League City Library.
Yes, League City is
I
my
gotta
favorite. Their content is just on point.
spectacular. We love you
Yeah.
guys if you guys are listening. Speaking of books, let's talk about this one. I
Yay!
don't do transitions well. Okay, home
Okay.
field advantage. Would you like a synopsis?
Yes, I would.
Well, I'm trying to channel April because she yells at me about mine. So she doesn't yell at me. Looks at me disapproving as I give a one paragraph synopsis.
You
So
do you.
I'm trying to be better. Home Field Advantage is the story of two girls in their junior year of high school in a small football town. Jack has given up everything. Bleh. Jack has given up everything for this move. She and her mother have left their home and family to join the Gators. While they can't outright say it, Coach found her, recruited her, and asked her to come to Atherton to be QB1. Well, technically QB6. But he and the team sure aren't acting like they need her. And to add insult to injury, the whole school is really against her. How is she supposed to lead when the team and the school can't get behind her? Amber is ready for the perfect junior year. She has done everything she needs to line up being captain next year. Then it's smooth sailing. Amber has a plan: head cheerleader, college, and finally to be out. She and her boyfriend, let me be clear, boyfriend Miguel Santiago, bide their time till they can be free of the small town and be out and proud like they want to. But things change rapidly. Things change rapidly when Jack catches Amber's eye. Will she give it all up for Jack? Will Jack lead the Gators to a winning season? Let's talk about it.
All right.
All right. Welcome, 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 everybody. Okay.
That was a great synopsis, too.
Thank you. To start, so this is my first Dahlia Adler. Have you read her before?
No, this was my first of hers as well.
Okay. So she's got like a gazillion books. Did you know that?
I looked her up on Goodreads after and was like, oh, interesting.
Holy shit. She's got all of the things.
Yeah.
So Dahlia Adler, this is one of 14 books she has written. 14
impressive.
Books. She writes YA and new adults. Mm-hmm. Do you think you're going to pick her up again?
I could see picking her up again. Like I said, I went on Goodreads after and was looking at her little bio and all the things she's written. So I could definitely see myself picking up more of her in the future.
Yeah. I mean, she's definitely got a YA voice, right?
Like, absolutely.
This is, I mean, we're going to talk about that more, but this is definitely a YA voice. So I would be interested to pick her up as a young adult, at one of her young adult or the new adult books.
Yes.
Just to see if her voice changes, if it's the same, if we're getting more of this light romance, or if we're going to get a heavier hand with the romance because it is a new adult, you know?
Yes. One of the ones I looked up was the duology she's written. And it seems to kind of span, like the first one's kind of more young adults, like still high school age, but then the next book is more new adult college. So I'd be interested to see
how it changes.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So did you read the physical book or the audiobook?
I did. I went to my League City library.
You went to the local library. Yay, libraries!
Yay!
I did the audiobook. I struggled with the audiobook narrator a bit here and there. I don't know if it was tone of voice or the inflection, but there's times with audiobook narrators where it's just like, okay, I can't do your voice. And it's like, I don't want to hate on the physical person.
Right.
But at the same time, your voice ain't for me, dog.
That's hard when the audiobook narrator doesn't hit it for you.
And that's a difficulty, not just for me, but like imagine being like blind or hearing, like having reading needs that you need audiobook narrators and you're like turned off. That would suck.
Yes.
In this book, we cover some really heavy topics for the YA reader. Sexism, religion, and death, just to name a few. What did you think of how she interlaced these ideas into the story?
So I think she did a good job Yeah, there were a lot of heavy things in here.
We're gonna dive deeper into some of the topics, but they're really heavy for a YA book, I thought.
But I feel like it was still all relevant. I don't feel like there was unnecessary trauma kind of thing, unnecessary
Yeah. It was
topics.
realistic.
Yes, like I
It
could
was
see
realistic.
all these things happening in a high school today that kids would have to deal with. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
The
It
book
is
didn't feel
realistic.
heavy, though.
It didn't. I mean, no. With so many heavy topics, it was surprisingly a light book.
Yes.
It was very rom-com-y. It was very like it was teen drama-y. It was very soapy at times, you know.
It was very much Riverdale kind of, know.
Without the darkness.
Yeah, without the darkness, minus. But like just the
teeny pop bulb. Yeah.
Yep.
Being in the closet, even today, is common for teens, or so we learn from this book. Do you think this gives a realistic view on the situation for this generation of readers?
I think for where it was based, yes.
Yeah.
Because this book is based in Florida. And given everything that's happening down there right now, I absolutely could see this as being a realistic situation.
Especially in how red Florida has become. Absolutely.
So, which is unfortunate because I feel like there's definitely less of it than there was like when we were in high school. But and that kids can feel more safe to come out younger.
Yeah.
But
it's not always the place, right?
Yes.
It actually felt realistic. I mean, I have a teenager, you know, so who better to talk about this? Well, my child feels safe in her home, and I know of children in her class that feel safe that are out. She does have classmates that are in the closet. Like, even in Maryland, this is a blue state. There are still kids that aren't comfortable. And, you know, it's not just school, right? It's the whole picture for these kids.
Yes.
It's home, it's school, it's activities, it's their friends, it's their church sometimes.
Yep.
And I'm not blaming religion.
I'm
not blaming religion. No. I'm saying that the environment that some of these religions are in sometimes is not supportive.
Absolutely.
And so this is realistic, which is really sad because we are in 2023. And if we are not supporting gay and trans kids in 2023, when the fuck are we going to start supporting gay and trans kids? Because I'm getting really mad about it.
Yeah. It's
anyways. Okay, but I'm just gonna move on to another one.
That's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Everything is fine. We don't
breathe.
It's fine. Gay kids are fine. One of the driving storylines in this book and the reason for Jack's arrival in Atherton is the quarterback of the Gators died in a horrible drunk driving accident. He is the whole focus of the team and the school for the most of the fall. Do you think this storyline fit well? Did we need this driving storyline to move the book forward, or would it have been able to go forward? Would they hate Jack no matter what, or did they need this extra storyline?
I feel like it fit, because I feel like that just made it harder for them. Like, harder for them to accept her, easier for them to hate her. Like,
it gave them a reason. It gave them in their mind, in their tiny little teen monkey brain minds, you know, that little pubescent hormonal thing. It was it validated it, right? It was okay.
We have an enemy, like, we're mad.
Common enemy. Yeah.
Because you can't be mad at a dead person, or you're not supposed to be mad at a dead person. Although I think they should have been mad at the dead person. Like,
absolutely, he made terrible life choices.
He did, but
terrible life choices.
When that's your best friend, that's your you don't want to.
It's your QB1.
Yeah,
you know,
you don't want to be mad at them. You don't want to, and especially so because it happened like
Recent.
beginning of the summer.
Yeah, it had happened right after they got out of school.
Yeah.
So they had the whole summer to stew on it, and then as soon as they came back, oh, we're missing him.
It was
And
they were to be mad at whoever came.
yeah,
I think
it wasn't gonna. I think it would have been easier if the quarterback was male.
of
but,
course.
but
They still would have been like, this isn't Robbie. This
is our
isn't
QB1. Yeah,
yeah.
no.
Despite the
Robbie's
fact
looking
that
over us. Robbie's looking over us.
QB1 was terrible, apparently.
Mm.
Winning
He was
season
a trash
with
can human being.
winning season with a girl, or losing
With the trash can human being who blackmails people.
Yeah. Apparently trash can.
Yeah, because, he's a white man.
Yeah.
Cis men, obviously, over lesbians. Isn't that the rule in the South? Anyway, where was I?
No clue.
So, okay. Oh, I know where we are. Okay. So, this is very common in small towns. Tragedy is all sometimes small towns have. I grew up in a small town that had a major tragedy. Middle of my sophomore year. Like, it was like October, the beginning of October, end of September. It was our junior year, and we had 2 girls tragically die in an awful car accident.
Oof.
And like the whole school shut down. Like, we just wandered the halls for days. Now, truthfully, and if you girls, and if anybody from back home listens to this, they know this. One of the girls was one of my bullies. She was a monster to me. Not gonna lie. Was I sad when she died? Absolutely. It was heartbreaking. I grew up with her. Didn't make her less of my bully.
Right.
But she was awful to me.
Mm-hmm.
But that tragedy still sits with our class today.
Oh, I bet.
20 plus years later, those girls are mourned every day by some classmates. And it'll sit in that town forever. That, where they had the accident, they have a huge memorial set up because it's all the small town has.
Yes.
And sometimes that just builds them. And I'm not saying what my hometown doing is wrong. And I'm not saying what these guys are doing is wrong. I'm saying people process trauma different.
Yes.
And when you don't have a lot of people and everybody's in your business and it's a small town, it's going to become a bigger deal than it is.
Oh yeah. No, my high school was in a small town, so I get that mentality. And
yeah. It's realistic. It is realistic. Let's talk about Jack and Amber. At first, Amber tries, but she cannot hide her attraction. And Jack, well, she's really here to focus on football. But these two can't help but falling together. Did you like their love story? Is it believable?
I did like their love story.
I found it adorable.
It was so adorable. Of course, there were the frustrating times, but it's teenagers. Like, there's gonna be
but the Melissa Etheridge note. Are you gonna climb through my window?
Right?
And I don't know how old Dahlia Adler is, and I don't even know if she knows she made a Melissa Etheridge but that is a deep cut for the old lesbians.
Yeah. Right?
That is a deep cut. Come to my window.
Yes, it was very, very teen rom-com-y. It was like, I could see this being a movie, like an adorable.
Oh yeah, and then having like a remake of "Come to My Window" as she's like setting up the ladder, and this has Amazon written all over it, all over it. We are about to get. You know what we're about to get? We're about to get red, white, and blue from them.
I know.
That's how we'll know if they can do gay teen rom-coms or not.
Yes.
Why is what the fuck, man? Focus. Fine. Jesus Christ. There we go. Okay. So was there any parts of their love story that you were like a big fan of that just stuck out for you or made you think, yes, this is it for them. This is the one.
I think my favorite scene with them is about 2/3 of the way through the book.
Mm-hmm.
They're in Amber's room, which we'll go into it later, but her mom was just hilarious through
Yeah,
all of it.
her mom. I
Um,
love her mom.
but they're in Amber's room. They're playing, the game you play when you're newly dating somebody. What's your
Yeah,
favorite this and what's that? And
because you got to learn everything about
you
them.
do.
If you don't know every information about this new person you're obsessed with, you will die.
Yes.
Do you not remember
And
being a teenager? Come on.
I mean, that's one of my strongest memories of the first guy I dated was like
Yeah,
sitting in our basements, like just
getting to know
what's
each
your
other.
favorite? What's your, so super cute. But there was the line at the end of the little section.
Mm-hmm.
I, I marked it. I have my little post-it
You
note
put a
so I'd
tabby in
remember.
and everything.
I
I'm so
did.
proud of you.
So it was on page 194, but
Okay.
and this is in Jack's voice, so it's
Yeah.
we may not.
Her point of view.
Yes, so it goes. We may not know exactly what we are, and we may not know where. May not be going anywhere, but where we are in this moment is so damn good. And
And
I was just
have
like,
you? Yes.
done.
But who hasn't? I love that feeling. It
Yes.
reminded me of that feeling so bad. And I flashed back to my high school sweetheart. And Brian and I really thought we were MFEO, man. We
Right.
were gonna be together forever. And I love Brian still to this day. If you're listening, I don't think he listens to the pod, but if you do, sweetie, I still love you. Don't tell your wife that. She'll take it out of context. Of course she will because it's me. But Brian is I care about that kid so deeply. He's not even a kid, he's a grown adult. But I care about that man so deeply. And I always will. And I think he always will for me, just because you get this there's a special bond when it's that first puppy love like that. And you're
Yes.
just obsessed with that person. Right.
Yeah.
And that sparked that memory for me, you know, in a
Yes.
way I can't explain. It gives you this warm feeling. Right. Does that make
Uh-huh.
sense?
Yeah.
It's so stupid.
No, it's not. I mean, like,
It's
it's an I feel like it's something anybody can connect to. It does not matter
Yeah.
your
It doesn't
gender
matter if you're
or
lesbians. It doesn't matter
yes.
that I was straight then. It doesn't matter.
No.
Like
It's
that initial bond between two people. And you get this like with friendships, right? When
yeah.
you realize you're connected in some way, shape, or form. And it just kind of molds you together. And you're like, oh, we're always going to be bonded right there in that little joint because of this. And it's beautiful and
Yeah.
sweet and warm. And I liked it. Now let's talk
Yes.
about how alcohol got fucked up.
Yeah. Woo!
Jack's life is a mess, period. Her and her family are divided. Dad and brothers are back home while she and her mom live in a one-bedroom apartment so Jack can play football for Atherton. While this is a change for a this is a change for a lifetime for Jack has what am I doing with my life? While this is a change of a lifetime for Jack, she is still struggling and missing her friends and family. And the team isn't making it any easier. What did you think of this storyline? Believable, duh. But do you think her family were right to do it this way? How did you feel about all this? How
That
did
was
you
the
feel for Jack?
I felt bad for Jack. I mean, like she was at a school with two best friends who were
I
open about
loved
who they
her.
were, loved her for she was, and it was, that core group that it's
Safety
so
net.
hard. Yes. Um and even though I guess Jack wasn't officially out at that time, but her friends kind of just knew,
It was a
don't have to
given.
say it. Yeah. Um her brothers were going to be mad at her no matter what. Like
Right. Yeah,
they
their feelings were going to be hurt.
didn't really need the split family. Like
No.
they could have kept the drama of it and just moved everybody to Atherton.
Right.
Um,
I don't think it would have worked as well though, you
yeah,
know? Um
she wouldn't have been like as isolated because not having them there, I guess,
I think
emphasizes.
I think she needed the isolation in the writing to make Jack feel as desperate as she did all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
if Jack had the support system of her brothers and her father, who are her team, right? They were her
Right.
team for years. She's the only reason she got to play ball was because of them.
Mm-hmm.
If she has that support, we're not seeing her reaching out. We don't
Yeah.
see Jack trying to find connection outside of her family.
Mm-hmm.
We don't see her isolating herself. And that isolation helps drive the story, right? That isolation helps her cut herself off, not just from the team, but cuts herself off from her family.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knows what's going on, right?
Not her family, not her
Not her
friends. Like,
family.
she just always, every time she texts her friends, she's glossing over, like, oh, it's fine, you know.
It's not a big deal, whatever.
Which is, I would be, like, I am Jack at times. Like, that's the shit I would be like, it's
Mhm.
okay. No, it's cool. I'm not going to unload my drama on you because y'all got enough
That's how I
going
am.
on.
I will text you and rant about something stupid that is useless, right?
Mhm.
I will text you and complain that the mailman didn't deliver the mail or whatever. But I am having a real struggle. I will text you the shortest thing and be like, I'm good. And that's it, right? Like, that's who I am as a friend. And because we don't want to be a burden, right?
Right.
That's always the mentality. Don't want to be a burden to anybody. It's just so stupid.
No,
We're so stupid.
So I know you mentioned it on one of the earlier pods, and I've had health issues.
Right.
But
you have had health issues.
I have
Oy,
had
girl.
health. Oh, good. We're not going into that. That's its own podcast.
Yeah, that's its own podcast with Nurse Katie.
Yes.
Katie will talk all about it.
Yes.
We're gonna have Nurse Katie come on. We're gonna have Nurse Katie just go over everything that's ever gone wrong with Leslie.
Yes, it's gonna be fabulous. But
diagnostics with Nurse Casey.
Right. So I was part of a church group during all of this, but I'm very much like, unless I have like answers, just telling people like, oh, I've gone to the doctor for this or I've gone to the doctor for that, like, seems pointless. I'm like, until I have like concrete things to tell people, like, this is what's happening, like, I'm not gonna really say anything.
Yeah.
And so the poor pastor, who was like over this group, I just when I finally like got all the information and kind of got like what was happening, I like word vomited an email to her and was just like, okay, so
betting there.
And I'm like sorry, I'm just like dropping this on you, like,
I'm kind of dying, it's not a big deal, but could you do this for me? Thank you, bye.
Yeah, so for like the last 2 months have been going through this, and yeah, here, this is major thing is gonna happen, and yeah.
Bye. It's good we can laugh about trauma, isn't it?
I mean, that's how I deal with things.
I mean, that's the point.
But yes, I will do that to people too. I will just, it's good, it's fine, it's whatever. And then all of a sudden I may just like word vomit all over you.
And that's really generational for us elder millennial women. Like, don't be a problem, put it in a box, you know what I mean? Like, our mothers, you know, we had almond moms, you know, we had the moms that were cigarette moms, we had the women that were just getting into the workforce and carrying the family. So they didn't tell people shit. So why should we tell people shit, you know? It's wild.
Just tell me where it is and I'll take care of it myself.
It's fine. I'll do it myself. How many times have you heard your mom say that? I'll do it myself. Too many. Speaking of moms, Amber has a bi mom. A gay best friend who's ready to be out and yet struggling. Who's ready to be out and yet struggles. Why can't I read my own shit today?
I don't know.
She has the support system, but fears school and the voices of her cheer friends. Do you think she's right to stay in the closet?
Oh, I struggled with this.
Me too.
I loved that she had a bi mom. I loved that she had the gay best friend. But I hated she felt like she couldn't tell. And I mean, I know especially her other best friend was the very super religious. I get why she didn't want to talk to that friend about it, but like,
yeah,
not everybody on the team or everybody in the school is gonna be
that way.
That way.
it's frustrating because she knows how narrow her world is, right? Her
Right.
world is cheer. Her world
Yes.
is this group of girls, and she knows how narrow-minded they are.
Mhm.
And they're supposed to be the voice of the school. So if they're narrow-minded, we should assume everybody else is, right?
Yes.
And that's hard. I mean, and her mom's the only atheist single mom. Like,
Right.
there isn't a lot of bi moms running around in Atherton, like,
Or at least if they are, they're not really saying anything about it.
no, they ain't out in the closet telling everyone. Like,
No.
So I while she was confident, while she was okay with her sexuality and her identity. Now, Amber doesn't identify as queer. She doesn't, or bi. She's more queer, pan. She really
Yes.
hasn't found a shoe that fits, let's say.
Right.
She's just knows she doesn't like cis men.
Yes, that was it. That was it. I know.
I mean, girl, and when she said that, I was like, girl, same. Like, have you met cis men lately? Have you met cis men lately? My cis man is a great gentleman. Don't get it twisted. I love my hubby.
Yes,
but
I love my cis man too.
But most of them are dumber than a box. They piss me off, and
they are rare gems.
Yes, they are. They are the exception, not the rule.
Yes.
Do you hear me, children? The exception, not the rule. I think you kids need to hear this because you're on the apps and you just assume these boys say that they love their mom, that they're good boys. That does not mean what you think they do. It means they live in their mom's basement. I love my mom. I live in mom's basement.
Unless you're in Texas, there are no basements here.
Metaphoric basement. Come on, ma'am. Metaphors. So what would you have done if you were in Amber's situation then? Because honestly, I would have stayed in the closet.
That's the thing. I don't know that I'd have done anything different in her situation. I mean, I saw a lot of myself also in Amber. Like,
yeah,
avoid the conflict. Just get to college. Just, don't rock the boat at home.
Will be better. I mean, that was my mentality most of my childhood. Get the hell out of Nichols. Get out of this small town. Life will be better. Life will be better if I'm not here.
Oh, absolutely. It's not that I didn't want to make. It's not that I didn't want to make poor choices in high school. It's I didn't want to make poor choices in my small town in high school.
Because everybody knows.
My varsity basketball coach was the chief of police. Like, and he was a great man. He was a great man. He was.
It's cute that you had your own police department. We had to borrow from other towns.
No, we did. We did have our own police. But it was just like,
everybody knew everything.
Yeah, and there was just, to me, that it was not worth it. I'm like, let me go to college 2,000 miles away, and then I will make selective bad choices.
Yes.
Because I don't think I really, I did not rebel, or my rebellion. Okay, I've done more in my 30s.
Same. I've gotten into more trouble in my adulthood than I have ever done in my teens. I think the problem for me back then was I was already talked about.
Yeah.
My mom went through a very, it wasn't messy because of her. It was just messy because Bill. But small town, my mom went through it openly. Everybody knew about the divorce.
Yep.
Everybody knew me. If you can't tell, I'm a bit of a character. Since birth, everybody knew who I was. So if I expressed anything out of the normal box of what was standards, feelings, ideas, I mean, I was shut down or I was told to stop. So if I did express myself in that kind of way, I probably would have been told to shut it down. You know what I mean? Like, no, Molly, because I was very space cadet-y with my ADHD back then. It was more of a floaty headspace, Molly's head in the clouds kind of thing. It took me time and adulthood and maturity to get this beautiful controlled thing. So if somebody would go, oh, no, we don't do that, I absolutely would go, oh, okay. You know what I mean? Like, it wouldn't have made a second guess for me. So
yes, no, I would have. That's the thing. Like, while it frustrated me as a storyline, at the same time, I'm like, I would have done
It's
this.
realistic.
It's very realistic, and just get through. Especially at this point, she's got 2 years left. Like, just get
Right.
through,
She's almost done.
and then I
And
can go live my life. I can be out and proud in college, where
I don't have to be
there's
here anymore.
more acceptance. There's
Just more.
just more.
Just more. Amber's bestie on the team is from a religious family, which is believable for the Bible Belt, but we learn she is a closeted bad girl, or how it would be defined in the setting, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Kara has a secret relationship that ended in a car accident and her having an abortion. Did the author really need to lean that hard into religion versus gay agenda storyline? This is where April and I have issues normally as a pod. Blaming religion for all of the hate it happens.
Yes.
But I think the author did a good job in this book straddling that line. What did you feel? It wasn't as heavy as some of the other books we read.
Yeah, I think it was believable. Like, she's the pastor's daughter, the eldest. So, like, you already have all kinds of pressure on her, being the pastor's daughter, being the eldest in her family, being responsible for her helping with her siblings. Like, it's not, if I remember right, like, they were one step away from, like, her getting homeschooled by the family. Yeah.
But the only reason she wasn't homeschooled was because she was
the cheerleading.
Because she was doing cheer.
Yeah.
And, like, I mean, but her goal is, like, to be a preacher's wife, right? Like,
yeah. And so seeing her having this, like, alternate personality that was the sneaking out secret boyfriend, all of it, just
all the things, right?
Yes, that just was. I mean, that was super believable.
It was, because how many? It's very it's a very. I mean, it's a cliche, right?
Yes, it is.
It's absolutely a cliche, and it leads into the book cliches and all that jazz. And I mean, we wouldn't have that folly.
Yeah.
The only thing about that storyline I truly didn't believe. Now, this is just from my point of view.
Okay.
Of being the non-religious person growing up in a non-religious background. This is my opinion. I don't want hate coming at the pod for this. I didn't believe her apology. No way. No way that bitch is coming to the prom and just making a big apology and fucking leaving. Absolutely fucking not. Her saying she needs to get right with God, I believe that.
Yes.
Believing that she needs to do self-searching, I believe that. But I don't think that child, remember, she is still a child, would have the emotional maturity to go, you know what? To fix myself and to heal myself, I need to go to make apologies first. Kids don't do that.
No.
They don't.
I get that personally. It was in there to kind of wrap up that storyline, but no teenager sneaking out of their house to go
apologize to their fucking best
homecoming,
friend.
Right? And that she knew that the boyfriend was blackmailing, like,
that was even worse.
That was a little like, like,
what was that thing we used to? What was the bracelet we always used to wear when you're? What would Jesus do? WWJD, man. What would JD say, huh?
Yeah.
If Jesus is your homeboy, how come you just sat by? Just saying.
Yeah.
But again, she was a kid.
Yeah.
She's a kid. We forget that these are kids, So is it believable that she would get pregnant? Yes.
Yes.
Is it believable that the dumbass would get drunk and crash his car because he found out his girlfriend was pregnant? Yes.
Yes.
Like, these are all believable things that happen. Now, fuck, this could be in the news somewhere in the next year and we would believe it. It's more of the fact that she showed up at the dance. That was the only thing that really got to me.
The other thing that frustrated me is, while you didn't know your best friend was queer. Her mom was
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Her
I'll pray. Let's pray for your mom. Let's pray for your mom. I'm sitting here saying your mom's wrong.
She should have known, though, that Amber was going to be the one person she could have gone to who would not have judged her, who would not have made her feel like shit, who would,
But that's where she needs the self-reflection. Because she assumes, because her family, she knew her family was going to judge, she assumed everybody else was.
Yes. I just was like, but she had enough history, enough context of what Amber's family was like to know that this was
a
probably
safe space.
Yes, this was, if you're going to tell anybody, that she should have told Amber first.
Yep. And that, and that is probably something that her and Amber will discuss post this, right? Amber will hunt, like, because, on Book Besties, we talk about characters like they're real people.
Yep.
Amber will definitely hunt her down because that is Amber, right?
Yeah.
Amber will repair this relationship because that is who Amber is. Amber will go out and try. But from what we know about Kara, this character is going to confess everything to her parents. That girl's going to be homeschooling before we know it.
Oh, yeah.
And her parents are definitely going to blame Amber as soon as she comes out.
Well, I mean, at this point, she came out at the end of the football game. Like, there's no
going back. The whole town saw it.
Even if Kara doesn't say it, somebody is saying your daughter's best friend
is queer.
Yeah.
Is super gay. So since we're talking about homecoming, let's jump into the homecoming game and the prom, shall we?
Yes.
So at the end, this all culminates in a big whoop surprise. They win the homecoming game. Everybody gets behind Jack. Nobody's going to throw the game anymore. And you know what? Jack's going to get a magic haircut that's going to make Jack feel like Jack. And they're going to go to prom and everybody's going to love him and it's going to be magic. The end. Bullshit. Bullshit. There's no way Amber would have won homecoming queen. None.
Because at that point, she'd already pissed off enough people, I think.
But I guess they voted. It depends on when they vote,
That's true.
We're not there. So if they voted during the week, like some high schools do, then they couldn't have done the voting. But if they vote at the dance,
I have a feeling that the voting happened the week before.
Yeah.
At school.
Because a lot of shit changed real fast.
Yes. It was...
The grand gesture.
Yes.
What did you think of Amber's grand gesture and how she slowly tried to win Jack back?
I loved it. I'm sorry.
It was cute. It was
so cute.
Was it realistic? No. Is it a bell? Yeah. But is it cute? Yes. Does it equal a proposal at the end of a book? If April was here, she'd probably say maybe. Most likely, April would say yes. So, predictable? Yes. Cute? Absolutely. Absolutely. Was there any scenes you loved that we didn't talk about or anything in this book that just struck you that we didn't cover today?
I really liked when it's toward the end and she's disappeared from school doing her stuff, but she comes back and she actually had the support of the head cheerleader, the captain, and her her right hand.
Yeah, her little posse. Yeah.
And it's because she's, mentally trying to figure out this person would be in on that this is happening. They would
be okay with this cheer. These people won't be okay with this cheer. Right.
But also knowing that the guys were talking about throwing the game, because clearly not everybody on the cheer team knew what was happening in that respect. And so, but the fact that there were people on the team who were not okay, they may not have been not okay enough to speak up, but they were at least not okay, with what was going on.
Right.
And so I liked that. It was just if you just said something, but we're teenagers, so we can't just say something.
Right. I mean,
you just gone to the captain and said, hey,
But heaven forbid we tell anybody that's a grown-up or a variation of a grown-up that we have problems.
Yeah.
That's that teen brain, right? That's that
Mhm.
little, like, primordial ooze that they have going in there, right? It's
Yes.
that little sloshing magic in there. They think that they can fix everything, right? They are
Yeah.
smarter than the rest of us. They know all. And they just like, it's fine. I can fix it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Duct tape. And it's just not how it works.
No, it's not.
It's not how it works. And I think the only thing I really skipped out on is that I really wanted to cover was how Santiago and Amber hid. They would go, they had little places throughout town and out of town that they would go to where they could be safe.
Yes.
And I thought that was really sweet. Well, sad at the same time because they didn't even get to enjoy their own hometown.
Yes, because they could be out in public, like just them being in public on like a date, but they were still considered cis-het.
Yeah.
But they found these like, hole in the wall, like nobody popular is going here.
No.
Nobody is, or they went one town over, where, and then they could be out and be them, like, we're best friend. We're not boyfriend, girlfriend impersonating a couple. We are, Miguel and Amber besties.
Best friends. Right. Right. Exactly. And this is okay. We can just be us.
Yes.
Here in this moment.
They don't have to worry about.
I don't have to pretend to be this or this. I can just be me.
Don't have to worry about people overhearing and taking.
Nobody fucking cares.
Yeah.
At Alley Cats, nobody fucking cared.
Yeah. Which
nobody's.
I guess that was something that kind of was like, they just kind of started that chapter with like this revelation about, and like, how did she find out at the bowling at the Gutter Kittens? Like, how did she find out that Kara and Robbie had been secretly dating? It was just like, just a revelation. This is just we found this out while we were there. Like, was there a picture? What did somebody talk about it? Like, that was, I think, probably one of my big this was just new information dropped in our lap, and don't ask how we found out about it.
It's a gift from the sky. Take it. Right. So let's do final ratings, and then we'll talk about next week.
Yeah.
So what was your good read?
My Goodreads was a 4-star, and I would say solidly 4 stars. I could even go maybe 4.5. But like, for me, a book to be a 5 has to be, oh my God, like, just.
I can't stop talking about this thing.
I wasn't quite to that level of, oh my God, like, this is just.
This was a comfort read. This is a solid 4 for me. This is a solid 4 for me. If I had to lean into halves, it's going more lower, not higher. Yeah. Only because I feel like this is a comfort read. This is something easy and light. It wasn't life-changing. It doesn't add to the genre. It doesn't take away from the genre. Right. It's just here. Yeah. Kids are going to love it. But it's not Discovery of Witches. But,
it's not House on the Cerulean Sea. I mean.
Word. Word. So we want to thank you, Leslie, for being on today and jumping in with us. Besties, next week it is, what the fuck are we talking about next week? April will be back, and we are going to be covering Love and Other Disasters. I am about 3/4, that sounds right, of the way through this book. And sure,
you have feelings.
I have feelings, but it's also like a book.
Yeah.
It's a booky book. If that makes sense.
It does.
So that makes no sense. It's fine. I survived this episode without April, guys, and so did you. Yay! So, yay! We are going to see you guys next time. Thank you again, Leslie, for joining us.
Of course. Anytime. Loving this.
Yeah. See you later, besties. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us on Book Besties. Don't forget to like and subscribe. The views discussed here are those of Molly and April and not those of anyone else. Today's book was Home Field Advantage by Dahlia Adler. Your Book Besties are Molly Biggs and April Watkins. Editing by Thomas Watkins, and music is Sleep Sweetly by Brigida. Special guest today was Leslie from Texas. Don't forget to follow the Book Besties on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. If you would like to contact the Book Besties, please email us at bookbestiespod@gmail.com or visit our website, www.bookbestiespodcast.com. Until next time, besties, get lost in your favorite book.